师徒之间节目，清海无上师谈环保，清海无上师讲经节录，肉品真正的成本3集之一。
So nowadays, in the modern time, scientists have made some research, and they thought the cause of war may be the starvation. Many countries starve and many countries have too much, things like that. But not really, we don't really have too much. We just use it wrongly and waste. So they make a research. For example, someone told me in Toronto, he had a restaurant. He has a vegetarian restaurant and a vegetarian magazine. He told me that, according to a research, if in Northern America, each person eat vegetarian meal once a week only, then we have enough food to feed 60 million people a year. And I was startled. I said, how can it be? But they work out that way. Not because of the food. There's so many concerning with food. Because the land had to be cultivated and now it's wasted for the cow feeding and all the water supply, all the medicine for the cows or the pigs or whatever, and all the transportation, everything concerned with meat diet had reportedly wasted a lot of human substance, and that is the cause of starvation of many countries. It takes a lot of food, protein, medicine, transport, water to feed a cow. And this thing came from underdeveloped country too. And this protein and food could have been fed and could have been distributed in a different way in order to feed the whole world, instead of feeding a cow and we eat a cow. It's second-hand stuff anyhow. So nowadays many people believe that vegetarian diet can save the world and minimize a lot of war. And I think I do not oppose this idea. Maybe in the future, very near future, we should try at least to see how it works, and then we can comment. But I believe it will work, provided each of us support it and try to cooperate.
Could you speak on vegetarian eating and how that can contribute towards world peace?
Yes, I have spoken in somewhat already detail, but I probably say more if you wish. You see, most of the war which happen in this world due to economic reason, and economical reason came more urgently through hunger and through lack of equal distribution of food in different countries. Now, if you care to read magazines and research about vegetarian diet, you would know very well to raise cattle and animals for meat caused our economical bankruptcy in all aspects, caused hunger of the world, at least of the third world. And it's not me who say this, it's you, the American citizens, who made this kind of research and wrote these books. You can go in any bookshops, read vegetarian research, read food process research. You can read like Diet for a New America from John Robbins. He's very famous. Ice cream hero. Ice cream millionaires. And he gave it all up in order to be a vegetarian and write a vegetarian book against his family's tradition and business. Could mean lots of money, prestige, and business to him. But he did it for the sake of truth. That book is very good, but there are many other books and magazines which give you a lot of information and facts about vegetarian diet that could contribute to world peace. You see, we bankrupt our earth materials for food by feeding cattle. You know how much protein, medicine, water supplies, manpower, cars, trucks, road made, and how many hundreds of thousands of acres of land has been wasted before a cattle is good enough for one meal. And all these things could be distributed equally to all kind of underdeveloped countries. And then we save the hunger problem. And once, if a country is in need of food, he probably will invade another country just to save his own people. But in the long run, it created bad cause and retribution. As you sow, so shall you reap. If we kill someone for food, we will get killed for food later, in some other form, in the next time, next generation. It's a pity that we are so intelligent, so civilized, and yet most of us do not know the cause of our neighboring countries' suffering. That is through our palate, through our taste, through our stomach. In order to feed and nourish just one body, we kill so many beings, and we starve so many fellow human beings. Don't talk about animals yet. And this guilt, consciously or unconsciously, will weigh down in our conscience, makes us suffer cancers, tuberculosis, other kind of incurable disease, including AIDS. Ask yourselves why our country, the Americans, suffer the highest rate of cancers in the world. Because we eat a lot of beef. We eat more meat than any other countries.
Now, we should be warning people all about the products containing meat and milk and eggs also. Fish even. Anything to do with animal products, we should, as you said, put a warning label on them. This is because these products bring many of the same health problems and involves the same animal cruelty, and they are destroying our home. The egg industry, for example, routinely disposes of male chicks at a very young age by throwing them into a grinder. Gosh. Oh. Where they are crushed into so-called meat while they are still alive. Oh, God. How can we ever do this? How can we ever do this? Imagine if it were our own defenseless children who were treated thus. Imagine if it's ourselves who were thrown into a grinder and made us suffer while still alive. My God. Is there any hell more horrible than this? Mr. Ling Shu, besides being horrifically inhumane, even just to think about it, even just to mention it, it wrenches our heart. How can we imagine anybody would do this? I did not know this before either. I did not even know this. the more we go into this information, the more we know about this terrible treatment to helpless and innocent little chicken and animals. I can't imagine we do this. I can't imagine anyone would do this. Gosh. Oh. These activities are carried out in completely unhygienic conditions, making them a breeding grounds for deadly bacteria like E. coli and viruses such as swine flu, and in turn killing humans and making people suffer. A lot of people suffer not by death but by the separation, the loss of loved ones, even young children who die by swine flu and living parents. Painful, suffer so much. The damaging health effects of meat and dairy are now well documented for everyone to see. Besides being directly linked to increased risk of such fatal diseases as colon cancer, links have also been made to many other cancers, heart disease, stroke, diabetes, infertility in women, and even mercury poisoning found in fish. Another type of meat poisoning can come from arsenic, which is often fed to poultry to make them grow faster. And in turn, we feed ourselves with these poultry. Of course, then we poison ourselves as well. But nobody would tell us about this. So we are feeding ourselves with poisons every day, not just from poultry, but from cows and pigs, ducks, geese, and not to talk about the cruelty beyond imagination that we are not even allowed to know and to see. If everybody see how the chicken were treated, how pigs are treated, and how little tiny chickens are treated, grind alive like that, I don't think they would want to ever eat chicken meat again. But we are not even allowed to see this. Most of the farm are hidden away from us, hidden away from our conscience. And we, for not knowing, contribute to all this cruelty. And we, for not knowing, feed poison to our tender, young, helpless, innocent children, and wonder why they're sick, they're ill, and have to make them suffer for medicine, injections, operation, and cause us so much pain to us, the parents. If only all people know this. We are trying to inform them. Please help us to inform everybody. This is beyond hell. One U.S. study that looked at all sources of arsenic acid, arsenic, a poison substance, said that among the highest are seafood and poultry. Seafood and poultry means chicken, ducks and all that, they contain the most arsenic. And you know arsenic is poison, yeah? Not only that, chronic arsenic exposure has been associated with all forms of cancer in Formosa. Please look into the research and see it for yourself. In other research, 164 samples of ready-to-serve prepared meat foods from a scientific center in Formosa, in Taiwan, were evaluated, with up to almost 30% found to contain some form of bacteria contamination, including the potentially deadly lethal E. coli. Finally, in one of the worst animal disease outbreaks to hit the island of Taiwan, the virus called hoof and mouth disease was transmitted from one pig that came to the island in early 1997. Within just 6 weeks, 6,000 farms had been stricken, resulting in the tragic slaughter, massacring 3.8 million pigs. Although in that case there were no reported human infections, this gives you some idea of how quickly animal-borne diseases can spread, causing devastation for themselves and humans alike. And these are just a few examples. So you can see, Mr. Ling Shu, the best is to abolish meat altogether. Because unlike tobacco, drugs and alcohol, animal consumption is eating up our planet, is killing us humans, and destroying our only home, that soon we might not even have a planet to live on, for our children to continue to live on. We have no time to waste now, as in the case of the other 3 poisonous substances, namely drug, alcohol, and tobacco.
Some of the tragic tolls of addictive drug abuse.
Over 200,000 deaths each year, costs of $181 billion each year in the United States, $33 billion in the UK. Lifetime cost of current drug addiction amounts to $575 billion in the UK. Over 100 British children each week call a hotline to express concern about their parents' drug and alcohol use.
Harmful effects: brain damage with mental and emotional losses, stroke, heart disease and irreversible damage, liver disease, tuberculosis, emphysema, cancer, depression, suicide, permanent memory loss, mental illness, higher infant mortality, increased crime and violence, impotence.
Crime and violence. Illegal drugs are a factor in 50% of burglaries in the United Kingdom each year. In the U.S., 60% of people arrested each year have been taking illegal drugs. 650 heroin addicts in the U.S. committed 70,000 crimes in a 3-month period.
Social costs. U.S. businesses lose $100 billion per year due to employees' drug and alcohol abuse. Australians pay $53 billion per year for health care, law enforcement, and lost productivity of drug users.
Environmental costs. Every gram of cocaine produced destroys 4.4 square meters of rainforest, with 300,000 hectares of rainforest lost each year to cocaine production.
Death. 52 people die each day due to drugs in the U.S. In Canada, substance abuse is attributed to 21% of total deaths and 23% of potential life years lost due to early mortalities.
Plus more.
Subsidize and convert the drug industry into vegetable organic farming.
For help quitting, please visit the following websites. For more urgent information, please visit www.suprememastertv.com/killers.
Drug begins with ignorance and frustration of the young people of our age, because many of the organizations sometimes have failed in satisfying their spiritual need for the higher meaning of life, more than just material. Because material today we don't like. Therefore they are charmed, they are seduced into taking drugs, because in taking drugs sometimes they can have hallucination and feel comforted for a very short time. But little did they realize the very grave consequence after that. Therefore meditation is the best way to relieve all this suffering of the people when they want to know God, they want to know happiness inside. Because our happiness through meditation, through the light and the music of heaven, is everlasting and is always improved and always more and more happiness and never have any consequence like the drug. If we can propagate more the meditational benefit, then the drug effect on people will be less, and they will understand where to turn to for a longer lasting happiness.
Some of the tragic tolls of tobacco. 5.4 million smoking-related deaths per year worldwide. Tobacco use kills one person every 6 seconds. Smoking-related costs $193 billion annually in the United States alone. Depression. Light and mild cigarettes just as harmful. Causes cancer and diseases in animal companions. Harms lung cell DNA that regulates breathing. Speeds the aging process. Toxic residues of third-hand smoke. Heart disease, coronary thrombosis, cerebral thrombosis, kidney failure, cancer, mouth, liver, breast and colorectal cancer, lung cancer, esophagus cancer, kidney cancer, bladder cancer, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, emphysema, bronchitis, stroke, impotence.
Additional harms for exposure to second-hand smoke. 600,000 deaths worldwide each year.
Childhood arteriosclerosis, leading to heart attacks and strokes in adulthood. Sudden infant death syndrome. More than 80% of the babies who die are exposed to second-hand smoke. Infertility, miscarriages and premature deliveries. Childhood asthma, bronchitis, ear infection. Cleft lip or palate. Hyperactivity and aggression in asthmatic boys. Circulatory problems in women.
Lung damage in children leading to adult emphysema. Lung cancer in non-smoking restaurant servers. Hearing loss across all frequencies. Childhood behavioral problems when exposed while in the womb.
Plus more. For help quitting, please visit the following websites.
For more urgent information, please visit suprememastertv.com/killers. Some of the tragic tolls of alcohol. 2.5 million alcohol-related deaths per year worldwide. 1 in 6 deaths on the road in the UK are caused by drunk driving. In Australia alone, 70% of adults are negatively impacted by another's drinking, with 43% affected by physical or verbal abuse. Over 100 British children each week call a hotline to express concern about their parents' alcohol and drug use. Cost of alcohol-related illnesses. $186.4 billion in the United States, £2.41 million for prescription medications each year in England, UK, with overall health costs in the billions, $210 to $665 billion globally. Disease. Higher amounts of alcohol increase the cancer risk. Even half a glass of wine daily increases the risk of mouth or throat cancer by 168%. Cancer of the liver, breast, colon, esophagus, rectum, linked to 20% of breast cancer cases.
Liver disease, cardiovascular disease, metal toxicity, sleep pattern disturbance including frequent awakening and reduced rest, brain damage, amnesia and dementia, brain shrinkage, organ failure, heart, liver, kidneys, stomach, pancreas, eyes.
Birth defects. Children afflicted by anxiety and depression, mental retardation, fetal alcohol syndrome, stunted growth, facial deformity, sudden infant death syndrome, miscarriage.
Alcohol-related violence. Child abuse, 50% of cases. Violence toward loved ones, 30% of cases. Violent acts, 40 to 80% of cases. Suicides, 20 to 50% of cases. Plus more.
For help quitting, please visit the following websites. For more urgent information, please visit suprememastertv.com/killers.
Even if we put labels or warning on the meat package, is not sufficient. Now we can see meat is everywhere, legally killing us and our children, legally killing our planet, killing the environment in massive scales. We must stop animal production now, and at all costs, if we want to keep this planet called home. The government gives subsidies to animal industry anyway, so these subsidies can also be used instead to turn meat and related businesses into wholesome vegan businesses. Good for the people, good for the business, good for the planet. Doing this, we only gain hugely, not just immediately, but for the long, long run. And we can keep this planet forever and make it into a paradise by just throwing that meat away and stop the animal industry. So please, Mr. Ling Shu, use your media power. Join us in informing people of this harm so that they simply stop eating meat. It's too cruel. It's too unwise. It's too insufficient. It's too unsustainable. And it's killing our people and our planet. Legally killing. If somebody go out and kill somebody, we put him in jail. Meat is murder. Meat is killing billions of people. Killing our planet, our only home. We have to do something about this crime. It's really simple to be veg, and it is the only way to a future for ourselves and all beings on this world. Thank you, Mr. Ling Shu, for being veg and doing what you're doing to help to save the planet and save us from being the cruelest being in the universe. The cause of killing, the cause of violence is far more worse than any car, any sun explosion, any ocean explosion combined together. Because we have to be responsible for our action. Every action provokes a counter-reaction. So we just have to stop killing. We just have to stop killing animals and men. We have to stop it. And then everything else suddenly will come clear. We will find better technical means to tackle the climate problem. The sun might even stop exploding. The ocean explosion might just stop. The typhoon might just stop. The cyclone will be silenced. The earthquake will just be gone. Everything else will turn to peaceful way of life. Because we create peace. And then we will have peace. Peace not only among humans, but among all co-inhabitants. That's why I keep emphasizing the vegetarian diet. It's the moral code of being a human. It is the mark of a great human. It's very easy to do it, especially nowadays. There are all means to do it. You see, the meat diet not only causes the greatest emission of poisonous gas into the planet atmosphere, but many other causes. It's not only the animal who emits the methane gas, because we keep multiplying the animals and they keep multiplying, spraying gas into the air. But that's not only the damage. It's not only methane gas from the animals' waste. There is the transportation energy cost. There's electricity energy cost. There's water wasting cost. There's a land resource, occupation cost. There's a deforestation cost. And there's a related illness, medical cost. And there's a grievance, sorrow of the people who lost loved ones due to disease related to meat diet costs.
And because we use food to feed livestock for human consumption instead of feeding directly to human. Therefore, there is cost of war and famine due to shortage of food and resources. Add them together, then we will see the real answer.
There are many causes which breed negative energy into the atmosphere of our planet. And you know what I'm talking about. When you walk into a room and somebody was hating each other or hating you, you feel the energies like cutting edge of a knife. When you walk into a lovely, happy party, you will feel the lively energy and the happy energy. That is what causes the happiness or the sorrow of our life. The energy, the negative energy or the positive energy. Now, vegetarian diet
is benevolent, so it will bring you happy energy.
And that in turn will breed more happiness, will attract more happiness. And when you're happy, everything will be better. You think better, you react better, your life become better, your children will be better, everything will be better.
Hello, Supreme Master. Thank you.
Hello.
I'm honored to come. A lot of people don't know that Cincinnati is known as Porkopolis. We got our start as the pig capital of the Midwest. So my question is really a very important question, I think, one that I've been asking myself for years, and it relates to the political leadership of this country. And to be able to ask you this in Washington, D.C. seems really powerful. So I wanted to preface it by saying, I'm almost half a century old. When I was growing up, America was known as the land of the free and the leader of the free world and a beacon of light and to the world. And now we've become the leading consumer. So my question is, the American people have demonstrated their compassion and their power since the beginning in overcoming many forces of evil. So right now, how do we, as citizens of America, the ones that are literally consuming the planet, encourage and support greater nobility in ourselves, in our fellow American citizens, and in our government leaders? Thank you.
Mr. Ball, good question, sir. Thank you for trusting me with such a great responsibility. I admire the American people very much, sir. You know that. For their faith and open-minded, courageous spirit. And right now, the government leaders need our faith and encouragement more, because we really need their leadership to bring about wide-scale change. We must help provide the government with information about the true cost of the animal diet. Sometimes the government are busy putting priority elsewhere, sir? Yes. Not that they don't like the change, but maybe they are not completely informed. So we have to inform them, write to them, talk to them, do whatever it takes to inform them, yes. The true cost of the animal diet not just costs life, it costs billions of US dollars every year just for the meat-related sickness. Not to talk about it kills our planet. You can gather and print it, all this information, and send to your political leaders. If you want, you can go to suprememastertv.com/SOS. We have all the information up to date that we have gathered and reliable and ready material collected there for you. I myself have also written and sent letters and information to the secular and religious leaders of the world hoping they have time to read. I don't send a lot of books, just short, condensed information. If you want, you can inquire the condensed one that I sent to the leaders of the world. And if they want to know more, or if you want to know more, or your people want to know more, can always log on to the www.suprememastertv.com/SOS. That's it. Or just log on to www.suprememastertv.com and ask for any subject you want. They're all free of charge and ready anytime. And should the leaders take some positive steps, then we should write to thank them also and encourage them, not always criticize and don't thank them when they do the right thing. We should have positive encouragement. You see, we have to encourage them when they do some right things, and so they go further in that direction, or even better improved.
Some of the benefits of a vegetarian diet: lowers blood pressure, lowers cholesterol levels, reduces type 2 diabetes, prevents stroke conditions, reverses atherosclerosis, reduces heart disease risk 50%, reduces heart surgery risk 80%, prevents many forms of cancer, stronger immune system, increases life expectancy up to 15 years, higher IQ, saves 70% of a total cost of $40 trillion for reducing global warming, uses 4.5 times less land to grow food, conserves up to 70% clean water, saves 80% of the cleared Amazonian rainforest from animal grazing, a solution for world hunger, free up 3.4 billion hectares of land, free up 760 million tons of grain every year, half the world's grain supply, consumes 1/3 fossil fuels of those used for meat production, reduces pollution from untreated animal waste, maintains cleaner air, saves 4.5 tons of emissions per US household per year, stop 80% of global warming, plus more. Save your life. Be veg, go green. For more urgent information, please visit www.suprememastertv.com/be veg.